Hello everybody, it's your state senator Paul Cicarella, and I'm here in North Branford at Company 4 with Deputy Chief Esposito and Minority Leader Vin Candelora. And with February being American Heart Month, I think it's important that we're paying attention to our heart health, but also all the first responders that respond when there is a situation, specifically some type of a cardiac incident, and time is of the essence. And we're here to learn a little bit more about what they do every day to protect the general public.
Yeah, so with February being American Heart Month, obviously a greater focus on heart health as it pertains especially to our members of the fire department. In the light of the recent high-profile cases of CPR having positive impact on someone's life, and some local, we actually had a save in our town in the beginning of February where the woman was saved by our crews. It brings to light the importance of learning CPR and use of an AED. Many people will learn hands-only CPR, which research has shown to be very valuable to keep folks alive until other trained people can arrive. We're fortunate in North Branford, we have a nice fire department of 120 odd members that respond to over 2,000 calls a year, the lion's share of which are EMS related, whether home emergencies or motor vehicle accidents. We have EMTs, we have EMRs. We're fortunate enough since 2011 to have ambulances staffed by paramedics in our town. This past July 1st, we recently increased the number of staffed ambulances to 2 paramedic staffed ambulances 24 hours a day. So we're trying to do our best to help the citizenry and those that pass through our town, give them the best possible outcome. And we're welcome the senator and representative here tonight to show them our skills.
Yeah, and I have to say, having lived in North Branford my entire life, and working and seeing firsthand how our volunteers in our community work both for ambulance calls, fire calls, and other medical situations, including heart attacks and things of that nature. Bar none, they are the best that we have, some of the best in the state. And we're in the unique situation of always being able to maintain our volunteer system. I know over the years we have struggled and cultivated to make sure that we always had the best volunteers possible. And so North Branford's in a unique situation, I think, from other communities where we're able to staff these important services on that type of volunteer basis. The commitment is certainly amazing, and the response times rise to the same levels that you see with our paid departments. And over the years, augmenting our services with the ambulance services and the paid department. It's one thing that these guys have just been able to do. And so I'm happy to be here to join you all in promoting heart health this month.
And we're going to be seeing a demonstration shortly. Who is this training set up for?
This particular demonstration will be if someone were to go down in their house, and we hopefully have a person there who is trained in bystander CPR. They will start the process. They'll call 911, activate the emergency response system, get the necessary assets on the road. They'll start doing hands-only CPR. A police officer will arrive, as would be the case in real life, with the AED. He'll confirm that it's a cardiac arrest situation. A volunteer fireman will come in to assist him at a BLS level, the police officer and the volunteer fireman. And then shortly after that, the paramedic will arrive to perform advanced life support skills and hopefully have a positive impact on the patient.
So it's definitely important that the general public have an understanding of general first aid and CPR.
Right.
It seems as if it's a team response.
Right. We call it in our region, we call it a pit crew response. Similar to Indianapolis, where everybody in the pit crew has a particular job and happen to make it run smoothly, have to know their job and do it well. That same pit crew methodology and terminology is used on a cardiac arrest call. One person will be doing compressions, one will be doing ventilations, one will be doing the AED. We have this device called the Lucas, which does automatic compressions, one will be doing advanced life support. So the team has to function as a whole for a positive outcome to occur with the patient.
And as you said, sometimes the first responder may be a police officer. That's pretty common when there's a medical distress call here in town?
Being the fact that they're in their car already, they're on the road, they could be right on the same street as the call happens to be on, or just the fact that they have that zero, they're on the air immediately, whereas in the volunteer fire department, you're getting up, you're getting into your car, you're getting to the scene. They could be on the road and be there, typically one of the first ones to arrive. And like I said, many of the police officers, we have our EMTs and EMRs that are very willing to get involved in patient care, which is a great help to the entire situation.
Absolutely. It's so crucial that our first responders are acknowledged for all the hard work that they do and the sacrifices they make. But we actually proposed a bill, SB 524, which is an act to produce a pilot program to understand the cardiac situations that arise in first responders more than any other profession. It's that fight or flight mentality. You're at a resting heartbeat, you get a call to go to respond, whether it may be a medical incident or a car accident, etc. And you start to have that high rate of heartbeat.
You go from 0 to full throttle instantly.
And over a career of that, it does put a stress on it. So Vin, myself, Representative Dave Yaccarino, along with many other representatives and senators, are supporting legislation to really understand that and find a way to address that. And hopefully that SB 524 will do that. If you wanted to touch on that just a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an area where, our volunteers give so much and they put their own health and safety in front of everybody else's, that we need to take a look at how could we provide those services of, the routine screening to make sure that they're at their best, when they're needed and they're not putting their own selves at risk.
And that's very important that we're paying attention to that. And just for the viewers, if you could tell the general public how they may be able to get some access to CPR or first aid training here in North Branford, that would be great.
Sure. You can go to northbranfordfire.com. It's the fire department website. There's information posted there. There's information posted on the town's website. We're in the process of creating a new website for the town, so it might be a little bit choppy currently. But it's posted there. Typically, I believe it's the second Tuesday of every month. They hold in this building hands-only CPR and stop the bleed training, which is another very important topic. You guys are probably aware about stop the bleed. It's, again, crucial to save people's lives by acting instantaneously versus waiting for first responders to get there. Everybody has stop the bleed training. So those things are available to the public. We get great response. The gentleman that teaches those classes, the two gentlemen, are here religiously every month. They've gotten people as far away as Massachusetts coming down to take those stop the bleed training courses because it's not offered regularly in our state. So it's pretty well known throughout the region and statewide, and again into Massachusetts. Some folks have come for that stop the bleed training. We're grateful for the efforts they put into it and the time they dedicate to that as well. So again, northbranfordfire.com would be a place to look. The Ambulance Company 4, North Branford Fire Department, Ambulance Company 4 has a Facebook page. They post it on there as well, upcoming classes, and we welcome you to come down and learn that valuable skill.
And if anybody wants to get involved maybe in being a volunteer firefighter, I understand right now we have a general shortage across the board for first responders, police, fire, even EMS. Right. And maybe if you could talk a little about how somebody can be come involved.
That same northbranfordfire.com website, there's an application right on there. We also have an Explorer post where many of us current members started out 14 to 18 years old. You join the Explorer post. It's kind of like the minor leagues of baseball. You learn the skills, learn the trade, and when you turn 18, you get voted into the adult membership. So those two situations are located again on northbranfordfire.com. The application is there. You download it. You can email it to firechief@townofnorthbranfordct.com, and we'll go from there. It's a great organization to be part of. I'm almost 45 years in it myself, so it's a great organization.
And I just want to thank all of the first responders for everything that they do every day for the general public. And I'm looking forward to the training. I hope you'll join me in paying attention to your heart health this month. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to pretend we're at the pickleball courts at Stanley T. Williams School, and this gentleman happened to be playing on an adjoining court, and he saw our victim go down. So he's going to come forward. Again, he's properly trained in hands-only CPR, so he recognizes it's a situation needs his help. He starts doing CPR. Again, hands-only because he's reluctant to put his mouth on this patient's mouth that he doesn't know. And what research has shown is that there's still oxygen in that gentleman's lungs to be circulated around to keep the brain and vital organs nourished. So what shortly would happen now is a police officer, because they're on duty, would come by. Again, they're on patrol, and many of our police officers in our town, we're fortunate, are EMTs and EMR trained. He recognizes also that it's a cardiac arrest situation. He dons the proper PPE, personal protective equipment, brings out his life pack 1000 defibrillator, AED, and working at a BLS level with our bystander who's trained in hands-only CPR. And I think a rescue just pulled up. We have our volunteer fireman now who's going to come over and take over for this bystander.
Connect electrodes.
Thank him for the work he's done.
Sir, I'll take over.
Check connector and electrodes. Check connector and electrodes. Stand clear.
The AED was put on. It's analyzing the patient's heart rhythm. Again, you'll see there's only 2 shockable rhythms that this machine will defibrillate the patient for. This happens to be one ventricular fibrillation, I believe.
Stand clear. Push shock button.
So you make sure that nobody's touching the patient, because if you're touching that patient, when Rob hits that button, you'll get the shock as well. So Rob, make sure nobody's there.
You're clear, I'm clear, everybody's clear. Shot.
He just defibrillated the patient.
Start CPR.
It's designed to be a 2-minute cycle, so we'll defibrillate, it'll analyze, give you 2 minutes of CPR, it'll analyze the patient again. Is he still in a shockable rhythm? He may be, he may not be. So they're doing basic life support CPR. Then we have our paramedic would be arriving, our paramedic ambulance, and we happen to have our paramedic crew with us today. And they would call it advanced life support skills.
Battery.
Advanced life support skills. And he has a different monitor, a more highly technical monitor that does the same thing that this monitor does, but with advanced skills.
You want me to take over? Sure.
I talked before about that pit crew mentality. Again, everybody's got a job, everybody's got a function, whether it's the first responder who started the process, we have our volunteer firemen doing compressions, one of our ambulance EMTs doing ventilations, our paramedic on the ambulance hooking up to advanced life support skills, and our police officer.
Replace battery.
It's also very important from a safety perspective. One person's making sure that everything's being done properly. Are we doing the right amount of compressions, right amount of ventilations? So from a safety perspective. And hopefully we have a positive outcome. So it's
pulse.
we have a pulse.
No, we don't.
We don't have a pulse.
Everyone stay clear. Shock delivered. Continue CPR.
So you see at that point, Dan, the paramedic, took over in the place of this defibrillator over here. He used his own defibrillator.
Connect electrodes.
Again, every 2 minutes, it's going to give us cycles to go through and reassess the patient. Did the patient return to what's called a ROSC, return of spontaneous circulation? Have we restarted his heart? Maybe yes, maybe no. Is he breathing on his own? And every 2 minutes we'll check and reassess that. And again, with Dan being the paramedic on the scene, he's our chief medical person here. He calls the shots as far as what's going on from the whole overall perspective of the call.
We're coming up on 2 minutes. Pulse and rhythm check.
So we're going to reassess the patient.
Do you have a
Did we-
pulse?
No pulse.
No pulse.
Continue CPR. Non-shock, whatever.
Okay. And again, the training to do CPR is very easy. We do it every month here. It's a ratio of 30 compressions to 2 ventilations. You want to push the chest down about 2.5 inches. You want to see the ventilations enough to see the chest rise. And again, you can do great things until the advanced life support people, and again, if this was a real call, Dan would be putting in advanced airways, administering medications, other advanced life support skills to help this patient. We're at a BLS level. It's a non-shockable rhythm. Again, you see on TV the term straight line. That's called asystole. Our AEDs are not designed to shock that situation. Ventricular fibrillation in a situation, if you could picture the heart, instead of it doing a nice boom, 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 it's kind of going brrr, not having effective circulation at all. So what the AED does, like you do on your computer, it reboots it. It sends an electronic signal through it, stops the heart with the hope that when it restarts again, it goes nice to a nice boom, 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 boom rhythm. That's all the AED does. It reboots your heart for you.
But, I thought we were. Alright, 2 minutes is up. Pulse and rhythm check.
Have a crowd pulse.
Alrighty.
Beautiful. Good job.
Well, I want to thank our North Branford finest for coming out tonight and providing this demonstration for us and for the general public. We really appreciate everything you do. And Paul?
Well, with this being American Heart Month, we think it's important that we see all aspects of this. And unfortunately, when the worst happens, our finest come in and provide the services that we just seen that save lives. And again, I want to thank you guys for your service and your volunteerism, and continue the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.